Let's take a look over at soybeans. Soybeans have been a really interesting story all year round. We had another great export report today for the soybean crop. China is gobbling up our soybeans like we never thought possible. That is excellent news. Their population's growing, they're feeding more hogs, they want more and more beans. Now there's a couple of schools of thoughts going forward with what to expect this winter in beans. Conventional school of thought, there's no carry in the bean market right now. The market is saying it wants beans and it wants them today. Doesn't want you to put them in the bin. It doesn't want you to store them. We need them. There's demand. Get them to market now. And that's a safe play. In agriculture, we're risk managers. Getting those beans to the market, following the signals the market is sending us, is probably the right play to make. That being said, I think there's another interesting play potential in soybeans. It's an entirely speculative play. Don't do it if you're not okay with potentially losing some money. We've got one of our analysts, Darren Newsom. A lot of you are probably familiar with Darren. He writes for DTN. He's got an interesting way of looking at the world. I really enjoy talking to Darren. He doesn't think very highly of the numbers the USDA puts out. And he's taken it upon himself to sort of verify as best he can what's coming out. And Darren's thought is, we have tremendously undercounted the 2012 carryout. Excuse me, we've overcounted it in the official numbers. He says his thoughts are, the report says we've got a lot more beans than we actually probably have in the countryside. And the market needs beans. And China's still buying. Exports are still growing. And there's probably not as many beans out there as we had anticipated. Darren thinks this might create a play in that December to January, possibly into February timeframe, where we could literally run out of beans in North America. And if that were the case, he thinks we could take out 2012's $17 highs in the soybean market. We're counting on a lot for that to happen. We're counting on the exports to stay strong all the way through that time period. We don't know if that's going to happen. We've never been at these export levels this early in the year. The question is China buying all the beans now and then they're going to take a break through the rest of the winter and start buying again once South America begins to export? Or is demand just high enough that they need to import at this level throughout the year? If it's the latter, if they're going to continue exporting, Darren's theory might be a great way to make some money January, February. If they stop buying, this $13 level that we're at today in beans could pretty quickly drop to $12.50. And as we look out, I got next year's. As we look out, there is no carry in the market. The price falls off pretty quickly. And then we're going to have South America coming online. They're growing a lot of beans. Still early in the season. We still could have some weather issues in South America, but they've got a lot in the ground. And come February, March, April, when those beans begin to be exported, we're probably, like last year, going to be close to done with export business with South America. So there's what's going on short term in beans. As we look a little long term, we do have an inverted market. We don't have any carry in the soybeans. So as we look out to November, we are at, that's January. To November, we've got 1160 as of Sunday night. Not a price high enough to convince a lot of folks to switch over. If Darren's scenario plays out, we're going to see November 14 bean prices really climb, and there we'll see some acres bought back. In the meantime, with soybeans, the fundamentals out there are pretty strong. There's a lot of demand. Whether or not China keeps buying at their current levels, the world demand picture is very bright for soybeans. If you're planning to plant them, probably a good call. As of right now, there's nothing out there to say, plant everything to beans. No reason to do it quite yet. Corn is still going to be the top choice for a lot of producers.